Let's talk a little bit about the basics of personal defined benefit plans. Defined benefit plans are pension plans and that are the exact opposite of defined contribution plans that most people are a little more familiar with, like 401k plans. In a 401k plan or any other defined contribution plan, the IRS limits how much you can put into the account on a year to year basis. For 401k plans, it's based on your income, it's based on your age, and a couple of other limits. But once you put the money into the account, there's no limit on how large the balances can grow over time. And when you leave the employer, when you close your business, when you step into retirement, then you can take all the money out or a little bit over time as you wish. A defined benefit plan is the exact opposite of that. The IRS has no limits surrounding how much can go into the plan in any given year. The limit is surrounding how large it can grow. Because, like any other pension plan, when you create a personal defined benefit plan, you're stating in the plan documents how large of a monthly or annual benefit that plan is going to be meant to fund in retirement. So you set one of these things up, you create a plan. Within that plan document, you are stating a retirement age at your company, you're stating how much benefit it's going to produce, and then on a year to year basis, you hire actuaries to help you figure out how much needs to go into the plan every single year in order to produce X amount of dollars every month when you or any other employee hits your retirement age. Now, like 401k plans, when you have a pension plan, you have to do all these balancing acts and compliance and complex administration when you have other employees. Because the employees, if they're working for you for a certain amount of hours in a given year and for a certain amount of time, are going to vest in the pension plan and need to be eligible participants as well. The personal defined benefit plan is like a solo 401k plan. It works because you don't have any other employees. You don't have to do any of that compliance testing. Your administration on an annual basis still needs to take place with the help of actuaries because every year they're going to help you determine how much to put into the plan. Now, here's a couple broad concepts that are really important. Remember that there is a limit on how large a personal defined benefit plan can grow. So this is a really good fit for people who are in their 50s and maybe a little bit older who want to put a whole bunch of money away on a tax deductible basis. It's not as good a fit for people in their 30s because remember, there's a ceiling on how large these things can grow. So if you're in your 50s, you might have 10 or 15 years to hit that ceiling and can therefore put a whole lot of money away over that compressed time span. If you start it when you're in your 30s, you're adding maybe 20 more years to that time span and can therefore only you can put substantially less into the account on a year to year basis. Now there's investment risk involved here too. When you establish the plan, you're stating the retirement age, how much benefit the plan is meant to produce in retirement, and the annual return at which you expect plan assets to grow. Let's say that you assign a growth rate of 5% to plan assets. And in year one, based on your contribution schedule, your actuary tells you you're going to put in $100,000, which is all deductible, which is a really good deal because that's larger than any defined contribution plan deduction that you're going to get elsewhere. So you create the defined benefit plan, you put $100,000 in. Well, if in that first year you actually receive exactly 5% returns and end the year with a balance of $105,000 in the account, then you're right on schedule. And in year two, you'll make the exact prescribed contribution that comes from your actuaries. But let's say that the markets tank. Just like last year, interest rates went up. It pushed the values of stocks and bonds down. Let's say that you lost 10% instead of gaining 5%. Well, in year two, you still have to make the contribution to stay on schedule. But in addition to year two's contribution, you're also going to have to make up some of that ground that you lost in year one. If you start with 100,000, you end the year at 90,000 because you lost 10% of your balances. That means that in year two, and you can stretch out those losses over a couple of years, but you're going to have to make a larger contribution than you otherwise would. Now, let's say you have really good returns. You have 20% returns and end year one with $120,000 in your personal defined benefit pension plan account. that means that in year two, you put in a little bit less than you otherwise would. So the business bears the investment risk. And this is not a good fit for people who do not have stable cash flow. Maybe they're making a lot of money now, but really have no certainty that that's going to persist in the future. You have to be prepared to have one of these things open for a minimum of 3 years and have enough cash flow flexibility to make the annual contributions that are going to bounce around on you a little bit. And this is not a situation like a 401k plan where you can simply forego a profit sharing contribution or matching contribution if things aren't going so well business wise. You're committing to making an annual contribution in a personal defined benefit plan. That being said, it's a great retirement plan. It's a great opportunity to put a lot of money away. It's all tax deductible. You just have to have a lot of confidence in your ability to make annual contributions. It works really well for high income earners in their 50s. Once you hit retirement age, you don't even necessarily need to keep it open. You can take the balance out, close the plan, and roll it all into an IRA, which is not a taxable event. So there is some flexibility in there, but don't go into the thing if you're not really confident that you're going to make at least 3 or 4 years of contribution.